What's happening, y'all? This is Todd Wilson with another episode of Elevate Your Game. Today, we have head coach. We have program CEO of his own training business, hoop head, city champ, all that good stuff. Steve Jones, man. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Appreciate you, Todd.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
We love to start this show off with the wall of hoop movies. Favorite hoop movie of all time and why? There's a couple missing, but I have a feeling your favorite movie's up there. Because if you're a true hooper, it's only one real movie.
Yeah.
And that is?
I mean, He Got Game.
I knew it.
It's a classic. Those other movies are good, but I mean, He Got Game. Come on. You can't beat it from beginning to end. Like.
So, my only complaint about He Got Game, Ray Allen did a good job, but he's not an actor, though. He's a hooper. And that's what made it so good, but it's also like when he was arguing with his girl and all that kind of them scenes, I'm like,
he's not a good actor in today's world, but if you watched it during that time growing up, it was the best movie you ever watched.
This is facts. This is facts.
So, He Got Game is a classic. Like
Absolute classic.
Absolute classic.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can beat it.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
So,
So we're just gonna roll right into it, man. So when did you fall in love with basketball?
I feel like I fell in love with basketball when I started playing for the Cavs in 7th grade. It's when I actually started playing basketball. Before then, I played like in little rec leagues, YMCA, stuff like that. But when I met Daryl McDonald, and we like had practices and we used to go at it, and it was intense, I really fell in love with the game.
Love that. Love that, man. Daryl McDonald, OG.
OG.
The Cavs, been around for 30-something years. Yeah. And so in those Cavs practices, what was different? What made you fall in love with it? Was it the intensity itself? How fast did you see yourself growing in those situations?
Well, what it was I wasn't really good at basketball like that. Like I was just like a regular kid, whatever, and he was big on defense. And I used to go in there and I used to just try to lock guys up. And I could pick up full, I was athletic, and that highlighted my game when I was there. So it gave me the confidence to like, start taking basketball serious. And I grew a lot in that program. And it was mostly the intensity of the practice. So he used to say all type of stuff to us, like stuff that you can't say now, in today's coaching, but it made me tough, it made me mentally tough, and it translated to all other coaches I was coached by. So
that is key, man, the translation of the game. And you're probably one of the first people on this show who got introduced to basketball at the same time as me. Like I didn't start playing until I was 11 in 7th grade as well. Oh, maybe 6th grade. It was like the end of 6th grade, but same kind of thing is like, man, like to you is go as far as you did with the game to learn it so late. Yeah. Well, what people think is late, right? But that attitude and being around the right people got you somewhere.
Yeah, most definitely. Like Daryl was like a huge mentor for me because he always helped me understand like every single day is a new day and you got to go as hard as you can. You got to get the most out of your opportunity. So even though I started late, every time I went to a practice, I seized that opportunity. I played hard. I did what the coach was asking me to do, and I just got better.
So you going in there and doing that, I'm sure that was rooted in something that was being brought up in your home. Is there something that, no, because it's important to see because this, the show is for the parents and the kids. Yeah. What were your parents instilling in you at a young age for you to go in there and be effective right away?
So my mom, firsthand, I mean, she might have been one of the strictest moms like ever. And she just instilled in me like this being polite, listening to adults. Growing up, I had chores. I had to clean up the whole entire house. I was always left home alone, so I had to be responsible. And she used to have like real conversations with me. It wasn't just all stickler. She built a real conversation with me, and built a real relationship with me and had conversations with me. And she used to sit me on the carpet and talk to me about this all aspects of life. And, we had a real, real relationship. So, when I went to the outside world, it was easy for me to transition and listen to people and understand what life was about and why I was doing certain things. I was telling you earlier, like these parents, I think they need to do a better job of just holding their kids accountable and then having a relationship behind it. And not just either being nice or disciplined, but just having more of a happy medium and spending time with them. That's very important. So I think that was important. And then my dad played basketball, and he was he's crazy. Like, I love my dad. Like, he's funny, crazy. He was hard on me. So I had a good balance, you know, of both. So somebody that was really pushing me, and then somebody that was kind of like understanding and still held me accountable for certain things. So
yeah, I'm bringing it back to the point that you made, that parents creating that relationship and spending time. I think parents mistake taking their kid to practice, talking to them about the sport all the way home and what they should have done and what they could have did. That's not really building a relationship.
No.
Having talks about life on those car rides are that's the biggest impact you can have on your kids, to show them that they are bigger than this game in whatever sport they play, and that you care about them and what's really going on in their life, because this is just a game. This could be gone in a minute. And so no, I think that's super important.
And to piggyback off of that, the biggest thing for me is, like, parents should use basketball as a tool to teach them about, you know, things that are actually going to happen in life.
Yes.
And not like, well, your coach didn't do this or didn't. What did you do to control your situation? Do you have a good attitude? Are you doing really what the coach is asking you to do? Are you asking questions? Like, are you playing as hard as you can? Are you giving 100% effort? And then are you doing the work outside of the practice that helps translate to what the coach wants you to do? So that's what life is about. And, you know, if you're successful in that, it's going to translate, you know, as they grow and get older. They're not going to be used to blaming this coach, because you might not like the coach. You might not like your boss.
Right.
But you still got to do what you got to do to get the job done. Yes. Right? So that's my biggest thing that I've noticed. And usually the kids that are in my program, they're molded that way. And I'm always educating parents as well.
Right.
And some of them are like, they're so eager to get the kid good so fast. And I'm just like, let them enjoy and like basketball. What if they don't like the sport? What if it's too much for them?
The parent likes it, though.
But
they see the money. Everybody's going to the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, that's what this is about, is that education. And I'm glad that you implement that into what you do. And it's at the root of who you are even. So that's dope. All right, so from the Cavs, you got middle school basketball. What was that experience like? Were you guys playing AAU? How high level were you guys playing at the time?
Oh, so I started in 7th grade. I went from being probably the worst player in the team to 8th grade to being the top 3 players on the team, and we became like the #1 team in California. We got invited before Nike EYBL. We were in the Nike EYBL when Nike first started doing tournaments. We played in Portland, Oregon. We went to the championship, and we played against Sebastian Telfair's little brother. We lost to New York Lightning. New York Lightning is now an EYBL team.
Right.
So people don't even know this, but Cavs could have turned, and they could have been Nike, and Daryl turned it down because he didn't want to, you know, get all those players. And I know he's had players in the past, AAU Nationals, but that transition where EYBL was started, we had a chance to do that. And then after high school, our team kind of just broke up. But we were very, very, very
I was like
good.
On that made hoops, like what made hoops is now.
We were on that level. Like, we never lost games. Like, I have trophies all over my house from the
participation trophies?
No, first place trophies.
Okay, so you don't keep those, right?
No. All championship
want to make
trophies.
Sure.
Like, we were really good, like very good. So
who were the other 2 players that you played with? You said you were top 3.
Jonathan Bell played with us. Chris Yanku.
Okay, yeah.
Who else? There's Kennedy Edwards. Those were like the main group for the most part. Other guys like played football and other like sports as well. But the point was, we were together. We developed together. We knew each other. And Antoine Johnson was there.
Okay,
Antoine Johnson played for us. So we were elite. We picked up
full dudes.
94 feet. Like, really good.
Do you still use the stuff that you learned in the Cavs defensively now today?
Oh, of course.
It doesn't go away, right?
It doesn't go away. The game's changed a little bit, but I use the same. Daryl used to teach defensive techniques. So, like, guarding the ball, learning how to sprint in front of the ball, staying square with the basketball, and then just playing hard. Like, really like, I always tell my kids, like my post-grad kids, just because you're breathing hard and huffing and puffing, that doesn't mean you're playing hard.
That means you're out of shape.
That means and they think because they're tired, like, I am trying, but no, you're not in the right spots at the right time. You know what I mean? Playing hard and smart. So being able to compete and think at the same time, that's playing hard.
Yes, that's why I tell people, effort is a mental, physical, and emotional thing.
Yes.
If you ain't got your emotions in check when you first walk in there, you're not prepared to play. You can't give that effort. If you're mentally not there, like you said, if you're mentally not there, being in the right spots and thinking with the coaches and applying it, being able to apply it, you're not giving real effort, because attention is effort.
And then some kids just play basketball to play basketball. They don't play to win. Even in a pickup game, they're not necessarily playing to win. They're playing to hoop. It's to play basketball. So there's a difference. Players that are playing to win, like winners, and players that are playing to hoop.
That's great. I've never thought about it like that. Cause I never, I don't care what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I play with my daughter in my house. I dunk on her.
Yeah.
Like, I am playing to win.
Yes.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Kids, listen to that. Listen to that.
That's a big one
dope,
for me.
man.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Really big one.
So going into high school, so you start off at Alamany. How'd you get connected? Well, I kind of know how you got connected to Alamany, the connection to Daryl. And
so Trey Meeks recruited me from the Cavs.
You're not allowed to recruit in basketball. It's okay. He don't coach no more. Shout out Trey Meeks. He was on the show. You're good. I'm messing with him. Trey Meeks was recruiting at Alamany.
Love Trey Meeks. My family loved him, loved his wife, loved everything what he was about. They wanted to bring in another freshman, Max Gersey. He was like the top point guard in the area. Their AAU team was actually the other team that was good, California Supreme. So it was like Cavs, California Supreme. I think we'll beat them, we beat them, whatever. So I went there, started on varsity. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I only went to public school my whole life. I don't even know anything about private school. I wear collared shirts. So it definitely molded me and matured me. It helped me on the academic side. Never struggled academically. My mom was on me. Every time I got home, 2 hours of homework, and I got adjusted quick. So I never had problems with academics. I even have a master's now. Always had, my academics were always good. I was supposed to go to TAF, but I didn't go to TAF because my mom thought the school was going to be like ghetto and whatever the deal is. But it definitely worked out for the best. Like we had an amazing year. As far as like me and Max and our development, I think we had 2 other freshmen, but it was great to play varsity as a freshman. Yeah, that's big. And start
in the Mission League. Let's talk about it. I have kids now who are freshmen in the Mission League who are playing 20 minutes a game and almost have an attitude about it. Like, bro, you in the Mission League, outside of the Scholastic series and the grind session, like where the those guys are. Yes. The Mission League is the top. Bro, that's in the country.
And back then, Mission League arguably was better.
Who were the dudes? So this is what, 2012-ish?
This is 2009. 2009. Jeez, I feel old, man.
Aged you.
Loyola was good. They had, before Parker Cartwright, we were playing against Miles Cartwright.
Yeah.
Who was there? Jordan Gathers. And that team was loaded. I don't know if you remember, Chaminade had Jules that was going to Long Beach State. Verban Day was in the Mission League back then. I'm missing Harvard Westlake.
Right, Harvard
Westlake was always a lead. Had 2 bigs. They were always good. I think I'm missing one more. Who else? Oh, Crespi was always good in basketball because all the football players played basketball, and then they would have 2 guards that actually played basketball. So it was more physical, and that was a great experience. I'm not gonna lie. That really
prepared you for
me for a lot of things. Yeah.
And then you went to another kind of defensively focused coach with Meeks.
And that got me on the floor.
That makes sense.
Got me on the floor.
Man, tell the people, because I think you got introduced to the game with a defense. Hey, we're going to play defense. Yeah. And that opened up the door for everything else. Like you said, you weren't even that good, but because you can lock up, and then the skills
the skills slowly. Once I got to Alameda, that's when I started scoring and getting to the basket. I started getting up and dunking the basketball. So my biggest thing is not only this defense, but defining people what defense is. I tell people all the time, like, you can do your scoring from defense. I would get 2 or 3 steals a game. Off the ball skills, on the ball steals, and rebound the basketball. Yes. So those type of things they keep you on the floor, and that allows you to develop. You understand what I'm saying? So the more time
I want to tell you this,
and
I hope it doesn't offend you. You know you're supposed to be a college coach?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want you to know that, man. You got you have some jewels in you, and you have your presence, man.
Appreciate it.
Hey, man, dog. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had to tell you that before this went any further. But
appreciate
go ahead.
You. Yeah. But
defense.
It's actually helped me this is my first year being a head coach at the post-grad program. It's helped me be a teacher more than a coach and really teach kids the meaning of things. Anybody shouts out defense, but what does it mean? You have to break it down in different categories. There's different parts of defense. There's off-ball defense. There's on-ball defense. How do you guard the ball? Like I'm specific with my team. Like my team, we're a great team defensive team. But there's breakdowns when we have to stay in front of the ball. We can't stay in front of the basketball. Yeah. Then you have teams that can guard, and they don't understand how to guard off the ball. Yeah. So it's a lot. There's talking. There's transition defense.
Man.
It's a lot.
Post defense.
Post defense.
Yep.
Right?
All that. Yeah.
And nowadays, now that I coach high-level players, you guys already have the offensive skills, and you already know how to play. Coaches are looking for the guys that can help you get stops. Unless you're going to be a KD or one of those guys, which is like a 1% chance, less than 1% chance, you better learn how to do other things besides scoring.
Yeah.
You have to. It's very critical. So.
Absolutely, man. That's dope. And so, Alemany for 2 years?
For a year and a half.
A year and a half. Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Yeah, a year and a half.
Talk about it.
And I don't even think anybody knows this story, but Yanku went to TAF. We played TAF in a summer league game, and I had like 20 points. You know, it was a good summer league game against like Bryce Jones, Spencer Dinwiddie. They had a loaded team. Like that team was ridiculous. Yeah. DeAndre Daniels, Landon was there.
Yeah. They had 14 guys that played college basketball.
That played college basketball, and I had like Max had a good game. I had a good game, and my dad, the basketball dad, he's like, "You got to get out of there, man. You got to get out of there." And I didn't want to leave Alemany. I never wanted to leave. And
wow. I'm trying to think. This is Alemany. Oh, they didn't win the state title.
No, they didn't win state until my senior year.
Got it.
So I didn't want to leave, and my dad he wanted to pull me out. And I still think it wasn't the right decision, but it is what it is. You're here now. You can't really change it. Right. But one thing I would say is when I did go to TAF, playing with all those players, it's almost like now it's kind of like ironic. I work for I'm a coach at SEA, and it's like the same thing, like leaving, I don't know, one of your local CIFs and going to SEA. That's basically what I did because the practices were intense every single day. You're playing against high-level players every single day. My exposure automatically just went skyrocket. Out of nowhere, I was a named player. It was crazy. And
so you went for the first semester, and then you transferred. And you had to sit out?
Yeah, I had to sit out the whole year. Then we, that was the whole deal when everybody played JV.
Oh, you, DeAndre, and Bryce, right?
No. DeAndre and Bryce played JV the year before.
Oh, that was the year before.
And then they got us. Derek had a whole thing going. So then he had me doing the JV thing. We went undefeated. It was fun. And then we practiced against it was a time of my life. Like playing with all those players every single day, it made me love basketball more. So it did bring even more love to the game because that was during the time, I know there's all these content companies now, but that was the time Ball is Life was blowing up.
Gotcha.
It just started during that time. So there you go.
Yeah. And so when you started playing varsity there, who were your teammates at TAF?
My teammates at TAF were Spencer Dinwiddie, CJ Blackwell, Kyrie Williams, Stephen Maxwell, Chris Yanku, Michael Thomas, who was younger than us. Am I missing?
He works at Core now.
He works at Core now.
Yeah, he does our strength and conditioning.
He was he was as a coach at Hawaii that past year. So man, we had loaded talent. And then we had a lot of young guys. They were talented as well. So it was just a great program to be a part of.
Yeah. And so throughout I know this is all integrated because it's high school. So what were you doing for AAU in high school at the time?
So at the time, during that time, I used to play for Rockfish. So I played independent for Rockfish, and those are my guys. My coach is my coach at Rockfish is the head coach at Pacific Christian, Jeff.
Oh, Jeff Bearcroft.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my coach in high school.
Jeff needs you on the show.
Yeah. 15s and 16s, that was my coach. The best I can honestly say is between him and Jay Hart, but he's like the best coach I've ever had. He instilled a lot of confidence in me. And he just made me that gritty guard that defend and also can attack off the dribble. And he helped me a lot. I love that dude. Like, love him.
You had a lot of great coaches. So when you first went to TAF, you had Derek.
Yeah.
And then when you that's when he went to Bosco.
Yeah.
And then
I got Jay Hart. And then Jay Hart changed my life. Like, Jay Hart he's the guy. Like, I'm not surprised he is where he is now. Dating that was his first head coach job when he first got into coaching. So, I mean, Jay Hart is that guy, man.
Talk about so you had great coaches leading up to Jay Hart. Yeah. What was the thing that Jay Hart that made him so special in your your journey?
Because I finally got to a point where I was a good basketball player, You probably couldn't tell me anything, right? And I felt like it was about to be my senior year. I wanted to win city. We all thought we were good. We would just whip on every team in the Valley. But when Jason Hart got there, he really emphasized on like working on your game and being in the gym and just having more like, how do I explain it? More integrity for the game. Not coming in and just BSing what it really means to work. You understand what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is like everything matters from how we run our plays. You know, how you bring your team together, the energy you have in practice, talking in practice. That was the big thing, talking in practice, being a talker. And he just elevated us, and he challenged us every single day. And he would talk mess about our games. He would trash talk us all the time, dude. Like he would say all type of stuff. It's things that I can't say, but he's like he's
an NBA G League coach for a reason.
And he even made me love the game even more because I was like, man, I'm not that. I'm gonna show you that I'm a guy, you know. And I always
fill in the blank.
So I always went in there trying to prove myself to him and be like, yo. And that's the approach I feel like kids are missing these days. Like they don't have that approach. You should be trying to prove it. You haven't earned anything. And that's what I learned from Jay Hart. I said, I haven't learned anything. And one day, I think we were all just acting like, you know, like as kids and cocky. And one day he challenged me one-on-one.
How'd that go for you?
It went really bad. And he just posted me up. He hit me in the post. He went 2 hard dribbles, middle, right hooks. 2 hard dribbles, middle, turnaround jumper. And I couldn't believe it because I thought, you know, as kids, you're like, this guy's not, he can't mess with me. And I'm thinking because I got bounce and I'm like, you know.
But he played in the league for 10 years.
He played in the league for 10 years and he was kicking our ass in practice.
Oh, man.
He would go one-on-one with Yanku and just go at us and score on us at will. So we were quiet.
So you got kind of a reference. I think it's important. This is a little commercial break from your journey and story, but for coaches to still play the game, I believe is so important. I see it now, and I understand, you know, the experience, but being in shape as a coach, and still playing the game because the game is changing and ever evolving, year by year almost. And so for you to not play and try to coach a kid on something you did 15, 20 years ago, is not the same on the court. You go out there and do it. You show me. And so us trainers, we have to show, right? The good ones, you see it like we're showing the moves and we know the details, how your body moves and defensive reads and all that. And I think that's what probably makes you a great coach because you still play the game as well.
Yeah, I definitely play the game. And being a trainer and being a coach is very, very important because being a coach has helped me as a trainer. And being a trainer has helped me as a coach because as a trainer, you have to be detailed, right? And you have to show them and you have to tell them. And then you have to say it again. And then you have to make sure the kids that you're teaching are able to explain it to somebody else. That's being a great teacher. That's the biggest thing. And then as a coach, I'm like, now I understand I'm a defensive coach. Okay, if you probably dribble 3 or 4 times this way, it's probably not going to work. You need to understand where the help is as an offensive player. That's my biggest thing. Like, guys that play with the ball, I'm like, do you not see the guy right there and help? That's probably going to be a pass. So this, having them understanding the floor and angles and gaps where to drive the basketball and how to play without the basketball, that's one thing as a coach. Now that translating into being a trainer, I do a lot of how do you play without the ball. Just the way guys just catch and shoot. The game is so easy and simple. Like, it's so easy. And the more you can do those defensive things, and if you want to be that guy, do those defensive things that we talked about earlier in the show. That will give you more of a window. To, okay, now maybe I can do a step back dribble maybe one time because
you locked up. But also you know how to defend. So when somebody's playing defense on you, you know how to score on them. And that's what I learned from being I was the same way. My coaches taught me how to be a defender. That was the first thing I learned how to do. It was like very similar story, except for I didn't, you know, pass high school or junior college or whatever. I didn't play. But same thing as far as that defense is your calling card. And but that's what took me to even working out with pros now is that I can play defense on them. And the natural progression of a trainer. That's how I know a good trainer. They progress and they become a coach. Because that's what naturally happens. If you are teaching the game and training and developing the right way, then you are going to become a coach.
Yeah,
Phil Handy
definitely.
and Chris Johnson
Yeah.
told me that there's two ways to do this.
Yeah.
You either start your own independent business
Yeah.
and continue to train, but you're still a coach.
Yeah.
Or you go into college and the league and you're going to end up being a coach. You're going to transition up because it's a natural progression if you're growing.
Yes.
So for those people who are still just skills training,
yeah.
hey, really think about what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
and it's in love. Like, hey, are you getting better?
Yeah.
If you're still doing the same stuff you was teaching 5 years ago, are you getting better?
So, 100%. 100%.
No. Dope. So end up winning the City League title 2 years.
2 years with Derek and Jay Hart.
Man.
So 2 years in a row. I think we were the first, me and Chris Yanku and Brandon Perry, we were the first three to ever do that. So I can always say that. My name is on there twice.
Heard that. Hey, get your buddy. Get your buddy.
On there twice.
Get your buddy. So college recruitment, how did that go in high school? What was that like for you?
So early on in my senior year, I was getting recruited by a lot of Big West schools. I was getting recruited by basically a lot of mid majors. Didn't make
You did that without playing on a big circuit. You were on Rockfish.
No. So I missed the whole. So I left Rockfish, and I went to the first Under Armour shoe circuit with ICANN All Stars.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was the first time Under Armour had started their circuit. We were sponsored by like Brandon Jennings. We had all these shoes. And when I went on the circuit, I actually started getting recruited. Like,
got it.
Whole bunch of mid majors. I think the issue with my recruitment and the early signing was classes at TAF.
Okay.
Because you needed all these core classes, and that's another thing I want to talk to. I mean, I'm pretty sure the guys have it down now, and parents have it down now, but back then it was hard at TAF to get the right classes that you needed for college.
No, it still happens. So
it's still happening now.
Oh, it still happens.
Okay, so this is very important. I never had bad grades. I don't have Fs or Ds or Cs, but I didn't have core classes I was taking. They had put me in like classes that didn't count towards college. So when I was getting recruited, they were asking me for my transcripts and stuff, and I was missing like 2 core classes. So in the second semester of TAF, I ended up taking a 0 period and a 7th period just to be eligible for the NCAA. And then 2 of my classes from Alamany didn't transfer over because it was a religious class. So that's the reason why recruitment kind of dried up a little bit. But I will always get calls from like Sacramento State, Santa Barbara was on me heavy, and then Riverside, of course. Dennis Cutts recruited me that whole entire year. Like I knew I was going to go there for the most part. But the reason why I didn't commit early because I truly wanted to go to JUCO. I really wanted to go to a JUCO, and I tell kids now, JUCO is not bad.
Right.
You actually get better.
Why did you want to go to a JUCO?
Okay, I wanted to go to a national JUCO because I felt like I wanted to go to a high major school, and I wanted more time to develop because I started playing basketball so late, and everything started happening so fast. I wanted to wait to be able to choose a school I wanted to go to. But the deciding factor was UC Riverside was a good degree to get. And I really built a good relationship with Dennis Cutts. And there were 7 freshmen that were going in. So I felt like it was open window for me to go in and flourish.
That's a great opportunity.
So that's why I took that route.
It's good that you saw all that, right? And you just didn't just jump into it. It's like, oh, he's recruiting me, let me go here. But you saw that the opportunity.
It made sense.
100%. And speaking back to the academic piece, parents, you go on the NCAA's website and check with your high school to see what classes are qualified for your core NCAA classes to make sure they're taking the right ones. Your college counselors and advisors should be doing this. I'm going to say this the right way. I know in most private schools, they have somebody who is doing that specifically. I don't know anything about public schools, but my experience is that sometimes in those public schools, some of those things slip through the cracks because of the number of students they have. So parents, regardless of you're in private school, wherever you're at, make sure your kid is taking the core classes needed to be NCAA eligible. This has been brought to you by the basketball firm. All right. Cool. So there you go. So you did go on the circuit, and you saw a difference from playing with Rockfish, an independent team, high level, great basketball. Like Rockfish is still rocking. Like we still send kids there to go develop. To a circuit team, and you saw an immediate difference. What would you say the top 3 differentiators in independent versus circuit?
The difference is the exposure to college coaches, of course, right? But there's a contrary to this. Independent's better for these reasons. I think I seen a quote Dame put. He said, "Be where you can dominate. Go where you can dominate." And if you can dominate on the independent circuit and get film and floors, stay there, right?
Yep.
But if you want an opportunity to get more exposure, of course, go to a shoe circuit. But you should start independent unless you're just a guy.
Got it.
Now, once you get on the shoe circuit, my thing of it is you're going to play against top players and whatever. When that game happens, you have to play well.
You got to be on. Yep.
You have to be ready to play.
Yep.
And through my experience, it was very up and down. Sometimes we'll play good, sometimes we'll play bad. And I'll never forget this. Back then, they allowed Under Armour, Nike, and Adidas to play in these same tournaments, like duels. And we had to play a mixture of the New Jersey players, MoCan, and I think it was like St. Louis, whatever the St. Louis EYBL team was, right? That first game, we played New Jersey players. I think they had like Kyle Anderson, a whole bunch of guys, like those Kyle Anderson's team. I mean, they blitzed us.
Yeah.
Like, they were playing at such a different speed and level of athleticism that you almost couldn't make a mistake. You couldn't afford to miss a shot or take a bad shot.
Wow.
And, you know, they'll be out on the break. And I remember one moment, and this, I always translate my experiences to kids now.
Yep.
If you're 6'3" and under and you think that you can just shoot and do, you have to do a lot of things. I remember trying to guard Kyle Anderson in the post, and I couldn't guard him. Right. There was nothing I can do. And he was posting us, and he was scoring on us, and they were elite. J.R. Smith's going crazy on the sideline because I think he was sponsoring the team. And I remember Rock telling us, like, you really got to be a dog. We weren't dogs that game. We didn't do everything it took to try to win that game. We went out there like we were players. And that made me realize, like, this basketball game is very, very, very hard. Like, you really have to be, not only you have to prepare, but when you get in the game, you have to be the ultimate competitor. And that's the biggest thing that kills me when I watch some of these kids in high school basketball. They're not competing hard enough. Yeah. They act like they're entitled to something. When they're not realizing, like, there's about 40 other guys on the other side of the country. Yeah. They probably, if they saw you with them, you probably wouldn't even touch
That's how they're
the floor.
going to pay for their life. Like, that's the thing, especially in the Valley, like, right? We had a lot of kids in private school, and I know there's families who do and don't have. Yeah. But a lot of these kids, like, basketball is like, oh, this is something I can do, where in other places, it's like, no, this is what I have to do. That's how they play. That's what I have to do.
So the second game, we played MoCan, and MoCan's huge now, which is crazy. Like, sometimes I'd be tripping out like, wow, I didn't realize that I was even playing at the EYBL before it even started, but we played against MoCan, and I had one of my best games. And that's when I first started getting recruited by Riverside, Long Beach State, and I understood what that level was really about. Even with that, like, I was exhausted after the game. I was picking up full. I was doing everything it took. To make sure that I was, my presence was felt. And winning matters too. You can't be a loser. Yep. We got blown out by that team, and then we lost to MoCan in overtime. So we were competing. Coaches want to see a game that's competitive. Yeah. So that's another thing that kind of like transitions and translates. Like, you got to be a winner. Yeah. If your team's not winning, you got to figure something out here first. Basketball. Yes. And then you got to also empower your teammates before you try to blame the coach. He doesn't play basketball. It's the players on the floor.
Man, talk to him. This is coming from somebody who played. Yeah. And played at a high level. And now you're coaching, and this is man, that's jewels, man. Yeah. Straight jewels. You decide on UCR. Yeah. And so how are your 4 years there?
Man, very how do I explain? It was great for the most part. Really great. But this such a learning experience on just life. I had the time of my life there. The first thing I would say, it's a UC school, so academically it was very challenging at first. I think that was my biggest adjustment, going from TAV to UC Riverside. Right. Like, the homework was insane, but the first year I had to really learn, like, some disciplined study habits, and once I got a flow, everything kind of worked out. My first year, I always talk about this with my kids. When I went in, I was the last freshman to sign. And I think it was, you go through September and October, and then you have your first scrimmage. I played so hard and so good, I started the first scrimmage. Started. The first game, I was the first one sub off the bench with 7 freshmen. So everything that, from middle school to high school, all the things we're talking about, I did those things, and it works. I wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah. So there's a blueprint to this.
There's a blueprint. So the next year, I ended up starting. I think I started like half of the year, and then I became basically damn near a 4-year starter at UC Riverside. And our third year, we won 17 games. My last year, we won about 17 games, and those were like second, third most wins in the school history. And
nice. Never make the tournament in IT?
Never made the tournament.
How far did you guys get in the
quarterfinals? We didn't do. We didn't. It wasn't like we never won too much, but it was a great experience. Played against UCLA. We won big games, lost tight games. I had a full Division I experience.
Yeah.
But we never made it that far. But I played with high level players, and I played with high level players that were in the league. Played against them.
Yeah.
Like Hawaii was really good at the time. That's a good highlight. Hawaii was favored, I think, 21 points. We upset Hawaii.
Was this when Mike Thomas was there?
This was Mike Thomas was there. Mm-hmm. We upset them. They were favored 21 points, and they were a tournament team. We upset them. I think we beat UC Irvine a couple times with Mamba Duke. But that league was super tough back then.
Yeah.
Really tough. UC Davis was really good for 1 year. Yeah. So it was just a great experience.
No, man. You got to play Division I basketball in Southern California. Hey, Riverside's still Southern California. Don't sleep in IE. I'm from Corona.
And during that, I'll tell you why that experience was great too. During that time, in the off season, that IE area of hoopers was very, very elite.
Crazy.
I want to talk about that.
Please do. Let's highlight the IE.
I remember we used to have runs at Riverside. We had to have runs at there's a Corona gym. I forgot what the gym was called. First place complex, or not first place. It's some complex.
I know what you're talking about.
Compton Magic used to have tournaments there. So we used to have always have these runs, like super elite runs. Like Mike Caffey used to be there. And then the Mellow Ball, the Ball brothers started coming. Mm-hmm. And when I say like it was elite, I knew LaMelo was going to be LaMelo. I was telling people LaMelo is that guy. He was like my favorite player to like play with and play against. But those runs are so elite. I had a great time. The basketball in that area, the people that I met during that time are in my life till this day. So I want to shout out Cliff. Mm-hmm. So there's a trainer there at Cliff who used to train me in college. He taught me how to train because I used to train with him. So a lot of things I learned were from him necessarily. Cliff now works with J-Law. He works in J-Law's gym.
Okay.
Now, but yeah, me and him were super tight. And then the head coach, the assistant coach is now the coach at Justin Bell at Santa Margarita at Riverside. And then our other assistant, Keith, is the head coach at J. Sarah. So it's like a full circle, like even with that whole entire group. I trained Jalen Bland and Taylor Johns, who play overseas, and played on my team. What else? That whole team, we all got like some type of synergy. I brought Chance Murray there. I don't know if you guys know Chance Murray.
No, I know the name.
Yeah, he came there a year after, but tons of friends. People talk about this going to college and playing basketball. I got so much off the court from that school.
The networking.
Tell
people.
My coach, he's the one that put me in the master's program to help me get my master's after that. And then the friend group that I have there, we're still friends to this day. I have a whole group chat of guys that dope. So
no, I think it's important. They all have something to do with basketball and probably doing different walks of life.
Different walks of life.
And
my first job after basketball was with Uber Technologies. I became a manager in a corporate business at Uber, was through a connection from UC Riverside, that has nothing to do with basketball.
Right.
So before basketball, I already had a career. Before I started coaching and doing all this, I worked at Uber for 3 years, and I was a corporate manager.
Wow. What kind of, were you doing any basketball? Or were you just hooping in rec leagues?
I would hoop in rec leagues, and then I eventually got into this whole training thing.
This whole training
thing. So yeah, that's actually one thing I wanted to pinpoint, because kids, they think that they have to go to college and go overseas, and it's like there's other things that can happen in those realms, because everybody's trying to reach something. You're around good people.
Right.
That's the point of going to college.
Right. And it's the same discipline, focus, and every hard work that you put in through basketball that granted you those opportunities to work in a technology company.
Yes.
Right out of college. I'm sure the pay was pretty dope coming straight out of college.
It was very
being able to transition that, and you still came back to hoop at the end of the day.
It's passion, man. Got a whole lot of heart.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of
That's
passion.
so dope. So I want to go back to Cliff.
Okay.
Because I think that's what Fire started, who you kind of are today with training. And so what was it about how he taught or what he brought to your game and that experience that, you know?
So I feel like in high school, nobody like really trained like that. But when I got to college, training became like a more of a popular thing. And he was one of the first trainers that I had been exposed to. He trained a lot of guys in the IE area. So just being able to handle the ball, footwork, learning how to keep your pivot alive, 2 dribble pull-ups, just learn how to play off the bounce really well. So that urged me to teach the game in that way. And of course I picked up different other components, but I trained with him and I got so much better in college. That's when I started getting really actually good at basketball. I got good too late. I feel like
late bloomer. Yeah.
Late bloomer. And
but that's the time to be good. Like you said, you were dang near a 4-year starter.
Yeah.
Hey.
It happens. And then that's when, injuries start happening. I think my best year was my junior year, and I ended up breaking my foot the last quarter of the season, so I ended up missing. If I would have played, that team was actually really good. I don't know if you've seen that highlight on Riverside when Mamadou got dunked on, the 7'6" guy. Yes. That was our team. Taylor Johns dunked on him in the tournament. And
Jalen was on that team too.
Jalen Bland was on that team too. So that team was super elite, and I got injured late in that season, broke my foot. So
man, did that mess with you mentally or at all? How'd you overcoming injury and all that?
I thought it wasn't gonna mess with me mentally, but it actually did, because trying to get back to where you were is really hard, and when you don't feel that way, you don't play that way. So just working through that was tough.
What helped you get through it?
The biggest things that helped me get through that was just, to be honest with you, just getting in the gym and understanding your body. Because if you understand your body and how to heal your body and start putting better things in your body, it actually helps you perform better, and it actually elongates you throughout the season. So I learned a lot of things late, but maybe it was for a purpose, so I can.
It's for who you are now.
Makes you who you are now. So even with my team right now, we stretch for like 20 minutes.
As you should.
We do mobility stretching. We do recovery.
Yes.
Right now, our kids have 12 days off. That's important too, coaches. Give your kids some days off. Yeah. To reset not just their bodies but their minds mentally. Yeah. So, very important, those things.
That's dope. All right, so from tech job to trainer.
Okay, so what it was once I got into the corporate world, you're dealing with like real life people that I'm a basketball player, I guess. So I'm not used to dealing with people you would be in class with. I'm working with them now, right?
Yes.
Your everyday people, and it was a good learning experience, but I wasn't very passionate about it, right?
Right.
Just something that came natural, and on the side, I wanted to start training, and I want to say, Eddie, I'll be honest, I have to tell the truth. Eddie was the guy that used to try to get me to Dune City.
Eddie Cruz.
Is that Eddie's last name?
Yeah, Eddie.
Eddie, Paul George, Eddie. Yes.
Okay. Yep.
So Eddie used to try to get me to the gym. Man, I'm not listening to this guy, like whatever. So he just kept bugging me. So I want you to come train. So I ended up going over there. And he had me run like some training groups, and instantly I just like, I got to do this, man. Like this is too fun, and it's easy and natural. Yes. So I started building a relationship with the guys in the gym, and before you know it, I had my own little group, my little team that I used to coach out of Dune City, and then they were giving me hours to train. Mel would give me hours to train. I don't know, Coco's dad.
Yep, I know Mel, yep.
He used to give me hours to train there, so my first client ever, when I announced it I put it on my Instagram, was guess who? Jason Hart's son. So little Jason was my first client, and I started training Jason, and then other people will start hitting me up, and before you knew it, I had like 10, 15 kids that I was just training in and out
Crazy
of the
how
gym.
fast it grows,
and it just happened fast. So then, I think the pandemic had just happened. And when the pandemic happened, I was a product of them doing all these layoffs. And I said, well, I'm just going to do basketball full time then.
Wow.
And that whole pandemic, I had access to the gym, I want to say that whole entire time. And
you weren't supposed to be in the gym? I'm telling.
Wasn't
no, I'm
supposed to be in the
nah,
gym, right?
I was in the gym too.
Yeah.
No, that's dope.
So I had access.
That's dope.
Yeah. I had access to all that time, and, I had a lot of clients that came in my. It happened so fast that I didn't have an outside life. I had to sacrifice.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pandemic. You couldn't go nowhere. I stayed in the gym all day, every day, and I did it for about 6 or 7 months where my man Travis Nichols ended up giving me a call. He called me the first time. He said, you want to do this prep school? He was telling me all about it, and I was like, I don't know. I work at TAF because I wanted to go coach at TAF at that point, after doing all that training. And then once I found out that TAF wasn't going to have their season, he called me again, and we made an agreement. He had me go meet Julius at the gym, and it was a done deal after that.
It's been there since. Man,
Yeah.
that was what, 5 years ago?
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
This is my 4th year at SCA.
Man.
And that's when it just started.
Right.
Literally from the sand.
Yep.
Literally from the sand.
I was there. So, Travis was with me at Core forever.
I know.
And
He ended up telling me that story.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we actually spoke about you before SCA.
Really?
Like, yo, do you see, who's that cat?
He's that.
Like, yo, he out here, and you could tell by the work, like, oh, he know what he doing out here.
Yeah.
And I think I must have been in Dune City one time. I don't know what I was doing there, but I seen you train too, and I'm like, okay, like he got it. Like,
yeah.
So that's so dope, like full circle.
It's a full circle thing, man. So.
And so ever since then, man, like, oh no, I trained with Steve Jones. Oh, dope. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
Like, and because I think we probably have, we don't even know, we probably have mutual kids that we've trained.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
For sure. Zach Broadus.
Zach Broadus. Oh, Zach is one of my guys.
Zach was on one of my first, his older brother was on the first team I coached at Shepherd Sports.
I trained him first. Greg.
Yeah, Greg, yep, little Greg.
I trained him first, and that's how I got Zach.
There you go. So, no,
that's
small
crazy.
world. Him, I mean, there's a bunch, all these little kids now. And so, man, love your work. Love what you do, man. You can tell, you know what you're doing because it's applicable to the game. That's what's most important. What would you tell a trainer who's just starting off, right? Somebody, now, I'm going to be more specific.
Yeah.
A former Division I player who's trying to get into the development game, what would you tell him?
Make it about the kids. And my biggest thing, my brand is called the Jones Way. I don't mean it to be really called the Jones Way. Now my AAU team's called Build Your Way. It's about the kids. And make it about them, like really take your time to make sure they're getting better. Like start from the basic fundamentals, from passing, pivots, finishing, and then build your way up. Yeah. Because if they're not getting better and you're just showcasing, I don't know if it's move. I don't understand. People say trainers are doing. I'm not into all that. I'm really not. Like criticizing other people's training.
Right.
But my advice would be to really teach like the fundamentals. Like,
can I ask a favor? Start criticizing other people's training. Because this is what this is about, man. Yeah. I bring real people on this show who are doing it for real because there's so many bad trainers out there. And like you're lying to these kids who have dreams of doing something with their lives. And I'm not saying stop training. I'm saying go get the information from people who know what they're doing. Because I'm an open book. You want to say, hey, I'll show you how I train. Yeah. It's because the OGs did it for me. Yeah. I'm sure you would do the same.
Okay, let me say this. And I think about this often because I don't like to get into the whole because there's people that criticize me for my training. And it is what it is. When I see something, I don't want to judge it so quick because I'm not understanding why they're teaching it and what pieces are they missing. Because they're trying to do the right thing. I feel that way.
Okay.
They're trying to help the kids.
Good intentions.
And at the end of the day, I feel like the kids are in the gym and they're getting some type of reps. That's my take. So my second part of it is, it makes it easier for me to take your kid. I'm gonna show you how it's really done.
Facts.
Now, criticizing here, it's hard.
I'm not gonna say criticize.
Yeah.
speak the truth.
Speak the truth. Yes, speak the truth.
That's it. And and so what I do is this: is say, hey, come see a session with me.
Yeah.
Like you said, that's what you do. Like, hey, come see a session with me. I'm not saying your trainer's wrong or doing the, but soon enough, like it has to be known.
Yeah.
And,
I understand.
And you could do it in a respectful way.
Yeah.
I'm saying, hey, I'm here to help you. Yeah. I'm not saying, yo, don't go to that dude. He's a clown.
Yeah.
Let me actually show you how to do this to help people. Yeah. And I'm going to show you how to make money and run a business.
Yes, 100%. Now, one thing I would say is what I was going to continue to say, too, was when you're trying to tell somebody that was a former Division I basketball player, the first thing they're thinking is money, right?
Yep.
And they have to understand, like, you're no longer a player anymore. You're a coach, so you're starting back here. Mm-hmm. Yes, your resume stacks that, so that may lift you up a little bit, but you have to put the time in. Yeah. And what I would say is, I told Travis this, like, I want to say like a month ago. I said, I honestly can say, because Nipsey Hussle, or they say like it takes 10,000 hours to master a craft. I really can say like I put over 10,000 hours into the craft because you're going to make mistakes. Yep. Put 10,000 hours plus in, and then go from there. If you can't get it after 10,000 hours, it's just not for you.
Right. I can almost remember the moment I felt like I got my 10,000 hours. Yeah. I was training, I think I was training Sky Clark at the time. Yeah. And something just clicked. Yeah. Like, oh, I know what the heck I'm doing. Yeah. It was like all these years being in the gym with pros and all this stuff and other trainers. And I was like, one day I was showing him some stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, so Sky, everybody knows Sky. Sky trained with everybody. Like he is a gym rat. You know, if somebody got a gym open, he about to go. Yeah. And so he's trained with everybody. So I'm like, man, it was like this moment, like I showed him something nobody showed him before. Yeah. Hey.
And to tell you where I kind of like popped my cherry was that first year at SCA. I was in the gym with Travis, Julius, and Dash.
3 different styles, but all
and Mark Edwards.
Oh gosh.
So my foundation was that for a whole entire like 6-7 months. I see Mark Edwards do Jalen Green's pre-drive, while I'm training on the side. Dash is on this rim. Julius is coming in next. I mean, you better be prepared to make sure your shit is, make sure your craft is right. But I was doing it so much.
Yes.
And I loved it so much. And I was in it so much that it just came so natural and easy for me. So, but I'll never forget that year, that pandemic year where I trained and then I was in the gym with all those guys. And, we were in the gym more than usual because there was no school because of COVID. Yep. So that was a very critical time of growth. Like it almost like flip-flopped me into a whole nother world. I literally went from being in the corporate world to my own business and to now coach, business, and then streaming into the AAU scene. So it happened very, 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 very quick.
Yeah. I wanted to know something about your name. I always thought you were talking about it. I always took it this way because you said it's about the kids and it's your name. Yeah. I always thought about you were talking about like a basketball Jones. And that's why I always connected
that's the connection.
It is that. Okay, so I was like, when you say the Jones way, you're talking about the for the love of the game way, not...
No, it's for the love of the game way. And it so happened to be my last name.
Okay.
That's definitely the whole thing. But I also like to tell people, like, make sure that you don't make it about you. Like, you're one person. Like, make it about the game and maybe the knowledge you have to give, but, like, don't make it about you.
That was... So, like, it's the gift and the curse, right? Yeah. So this is where I made the biggest mistake, but it was for the right intentions, right? Is that I never posted anything. And I have this program that literally is the prototype for all these schools out here now, right? And so I never posted anything. And I had Johnny Juzang, Taryn Frank, Dylan DePina, Clark
I saw you guys do like a, what do you call it, alumni? I was like, you guys have guys.
The thing is fire, right?
Oh my God.
And like, it was like, seriously, I had all these guys the first year. I got video. I got everything. And Travis kept on telling me, yo, we got to record this. We got to record. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not about that. I want to be about these kids. And it's like the gift and the curse of like, man, if I would have been doing what I was on, I started Instagram, had the same amount of followers, J Law and Drew Hanlon when I first started. And I was posting stuff. This is years ago. And I stopped. And now what they're able to do, the reach they're able to have, because the focus is still on other people. And I'm like, I didn't decide to do this till like 2 years ago. Where now I'm doing this is like, and it's not about me. It's about you, but we're still talking about this game. And we're giving education, and it's for the kids. Yeah. It's different if I was doing this for me, because we see people out there and know it's okay if you do this. Yeah. Is that it's about them so they can make their bag. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. That's fine
cool
too.
For them. No, that's right. Cool.
And for me and my, what I do, I want it to always direct back towards helping people.
Yeah, most definitely.
So trainers, have your media and get your content.
Yeah, but make sure you're really helping guys.
That's it.
Like,
that's it.
Helping guys can mean anything. Like, just connecting them to high schools. Like, parents just call me like, what high school should I go to?
I have a whole business. So this is what, here I'm going to break this because it's going to happen at the top of the year anyway, is that this is what all this is about, is that I'm starting a consulting side. It's called the Basketball Firm, where we help you with the blueprint. Yeah. And it's not about me. Yeah. It's not about me training you, none of that. I want to connect you with Steve. Yeah. I want to connect you with his AAU team. I want to connect you to SCA because that's the journey that you need. Yeah. I've done it because I had all these top middle schoolers. Yeah. Our middle schoolers in general, I connect them to high schools. Yeah. I connect you to AAU teams where it's best fit for you. Yes. I have no ties to anybody. Yes. I'm Switzerland in this because through my years, God's blessed me through my journey to know the path, the pathway. Yeah. And so that's what this is all about, is to be a consultant, but it's going to connect everybody in this community to do what's best for these kids. Yeah. And for us to get out of the way, for the parents to get out of the way.
Yes. Oh, they don't even understand.
They don't, and parents, it's not because we don't think you don't know what you're doing, even though you don't. It's that we do know. Yeah. Because we're not at your job, executive, doing your job. Yeah. We're not in the doctor's office, prescribing medicine. Yeah. We've been along this journey, and we've helped people along this journey. Yeah. And we do there's a blueprint. There's a way that you do this that is successful for most. Yeah. Now, you got outliers. You got the LeVar Ball way. Yeah. Hey, that happens too. And you want to try that? Cool. More power to you. Yeah. But most of the kids journey one way. Yeah. And there's a right way to do it.
There's a right way to do it. I like that you're starting that and doing that, because the other thing I was going to say was for the coaches. Yes. Here's the thing. I told this to Ice, one of my assistant trainers. I said, what's crazy? As a regular human being, if our phone messes up, we're going to this Apple phone or this, everybody's going to have a complaint. Everybody's going to talk about their barber, or they're going to talk about something in society that doesn't go their way. And when you're a coach, things are just not going to go the right way. Somebody's going to complain. As a coach, you got to be able to handle that too. Yes. You can't be the coach of this. I don't talk to parents. No, you do have to talk to the parents. You do have to build a relationship, and they have to know who you are and where you're coming from and where your intentions are coming from. So as coaches, control what we can control, and let's make sure. And I know there's some ungrateful, disrespectful parents out there, but I've been disrespected by parents, and I've still been cool with them, because guess what? I think they just don't know better. Right. And maybe I'll just have a conversation like, hey, this is what I was seeing, and I apologize. You know what? I apologize. We'll change that, because that's the same thing with Apple. They're going to mess up. Something's not going to go right. They're going to send you an email and apologize. You're still going to use the product. Yes. So if you look at it from that context, I feel like absolutely that can help us help the parents as well, just as coaches. That's one thing I've taken more charge of in the last year or so, because at first I was like, these guys don't know what they're talking about. But I'm like, I'm getting the same results. Maybe I need to change a little bit and be more receptive to teaching them and just having conversations with them. Sometimes parents just want to be heard. It's crazy. Man. They just want to be heard.
The times they really I put my earpiece in and I just sit and listen. And I listen intently, parents, I promise. Yeah. I'm listening. Yeah. And it's just and they're like, and then the conversation's like, okay. Yeah. Literally say, okay. Yeah. Okay, thanks, coach. Everything's going to be okay. I didn't even say anything, but they had to say their piece, speak their piece, because it is their kid. And I have two little ones. And so once I became a father, that came very, very clear, it's my daughter, so I'm going to have something to say no matter what's happening, because it's my daughter, regardless of what that person thinks she needs to do or what. It is my daughter. And so my opinion matters automatically. And so communication and responsibility. Yes. When you're as a leader, I'm a big believer in this. If anything happens under my umbrella, it's my fault.
It's my fault.
That's it. Oh, they don't understand. Oh, they're disrespecting me. That's my fault. I didn't tell them clearly who I am and why they shouldn't disrespect me or however you want to see it. So.
And that's why with like my training program and even my little middle school team, just being in somebody else's gym and renting their gym, just understanding how to control the parents and making sure they're abiding by the rules, making sure our kids are respectful. Yes. That's another thing. If you're going to start off a training business, your foundation and culture has to be so tight-knitted. Like, it has to be tight.
Yep.
Because, like I said, you're going to have your Apple complainers. No matter what. No matter, you can be as perfect as possible. If you change the time from 6 to 6:15, you're going to hear a complaint.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
That's the biggest thing.
No, that's dope. Yeah. So coaching prep basketball. I wanted to touch on it real quick because it's it's a newer space.
It's a newer space, yes.
And it's becoming the dominant space though for kids who want to play at the next level. Mm-hmm. What's your experience been like?
It's the best experience you can experience as a basketball coach and player development coach and developing players. It's almost like I've been there for 4 years. It's like getting 10 years of experience, 10 years plus. And here's the reasons why. At your regular CAF school, the kids go to school all day. They have classroom, they have homework, and then they get basketball for maybe an hour. Maybe you can do training before school, maybe not, and then you have games and that's it. On the prep level, we get to go 6 a.m. to 7:30. We get to go 1 to 2:30 skill work, and then we get to go practice 3 to 5, and then we get to go weights, and then we're with these kids all day long. And they're housing with us. Man. So you can imagine from the parent experience to the inner relationship with the player, and then the development on the court, we're able to maximize our hours like the Europeans are able to do.
Yes.
And that experience alone for me, we talk about 10,000 hours. I want to say it's like 50,000 hours because I've corrected and seen so many different type of players and personalities. And these aren't players that are not good. These are players that are actually, they're supposed to be somebody and they're being recruited throughout the country. That experience alone has made me grow so much as a coach, and it's transitioned and translated into my training and the things I want to do personally, with building an AAU team and, building my training business. It's helped me a ton. Also, the connections you make. Yeah. I mean, I've made so many connections. It's unreal. Like, I've been all around the country. I played at every big tournament, leading all the way to now we're in OTE. The exposure and the connections is limitless. Like, I can honestly say I know a lot of people in basketball. Yeah. And I've coached and trained a lot of high-level players. Most of our players are all at the Division I level. We have over 40 Division I basketball players. And I think it's like 75% of them are either starting or getting major minutes on one of those teams. Wow. So seeing that in 3 or 4 years that's a blessing on its own.
Right.
It's the best experience you can get. And starting with the prep school, not that was popular right away, literally starting from the ground up. Starting from being in the pandemic and playing in the grind session, our first year top 25 team, going from second year from top 25 to top 10 in the country, and then having a year of this talented kids, and then just trying to figure it out, right? Yeah. And then coming all the way to this year where we finally have like all the right pieces, and now we have a new challenge for OTE. So, I mean, it's like being to me, it's better than being a college coach.
No, you're going thrown in the fire. It's like you should do this before you go be a college coach, because when you become a college coach, you there's more, I guess, structure and rules.
Yes.
And so you can mold it and shape it based off your experience with the prep school.
Yes. Wow. No, it's been amazing just from the business standpoint. Like you said, structure. It makes me be more structured because who's going to tell me what to do? I'm the one leading everything. So my habits have to be right, and I have to be organized, and I have to communicate. And then we're trying to build things, right? At a college, things are kind of already built. You can just tell Susie or somebody to do something. When we're trying to build something, we all have to come together, be connected. We have to put in the time in the gym with the kids and actually get them better. It's just been amazing, bro. Like, I can't, like, shout out to Travis Nichols for giving all of us coaches that are in this program, this platform, because every coach in this program has grown, from Julius to me to Brendan Taylor, Rubes from last year. Steve Bake was in our program.
Right.
Like, we've had a lot of good coaches in our program that have benefited, from the platform that Travis has kind of made for us. And he's in Florida now.
Right.
So
doing it all, starting from scratch. Same blueprint, but something different.
Yeah. It's been amazing. It's been really, really fun. We built something really special there.
No, man, that's awesome. Man.
Yeah,
that's dope. I think that's great insight for somebody who doesn't know, and for parents and kids who don't understand how prep school works, what it is. And these kids are going on. If the goal is free college, there's an opportunity there, 100%. Yeah. You just have to love this.
You have to love it.
You have to love the game.
If you love basketball and you want to take that extra step, I would say prep is the route. If you have a good situation with your CIF, dominate where you can dominate. But if you have an opportunity where you need to be challenged a little bit, hint at a couple guys that are the only good kid in their school, and you know you're a high-level player, challenge yourself. You don't have to come to our school, but find a way to challenge yourself. Right. Because
like you going from Alameda to Taft.
Yeah, you want to be prepared. Because you don't want to be the guy and then you see this talent and now you see that this guy's been through these experiences, and it's like, even though you average 22 and that guy averaged 8, he's kind of more ready to play. So parents, remember that. Points don't matter at all.
Man.
They do not matter.
Say it again.
They don't matter that as much as you think. So it's all about ability and capability. So you can average 20 just getting fouls and layups because you're bigger and stronger. And then when the floor gets space and you're playing the same guy with the same athleticism and build, can you make a consistent 3? Can you drip? Like, I always say this as a trainer. I want you to be able to do everything. So they can't say you can't do this.
Yes.
Give the coach a reason to take you off the floor.
Yep.
Give me a reason.
Absolutely. I love that. That mindset of players being able to do anything regardless of their size, I think is a huge disagreement in the basketball community. Yeah. Especially with, I'm going to say old school coaches or coaches who see the game a certain way. Because that's my thing is like, man, you have to be able to access every part of the floor and be able to be effective. Now, I'm not saying that, I got a 7-footer, I want him to shoot threes all game. But he better know how to knock down a corner 3 and a top 3. He better know how to do that.
You got and it's a slow, steady development in every facet of the game. And I like that you said that because we see a lot of our kids go to college and don't play. And it's a product of not just the coach. It's a product of, can you get there and adjust? Can you get there and adjust? Okay, he doesn't want you to put the ball on the floor right now. So can you play better off the ball? Can you get 2 or 3 steals? And then maybe that'll open your window up. Yeah. And if you talk to good players that have been in programs and they've all of nowhere started getting playing time, they'll tell you like, oh, I just came in, I hit a couple corner threes and now coach didn't even know I can do this. Because I just stayed at it. You have to fall in love with the game, not your game. Fall in love with the actual game of winning, not just your game. Your game will open up as long as you do the things that can help that coach win. And it might not be catch and shoot. Amari Bailey, I didn't think he caught a shot at UCLA at all.
Not really.
I think he was like driving to the basket and, hey man.
Yeah.
That's just how it works sometimes.
The coach controls your playing time, so do what that man says. Be capable of doing whatever he asks. They recruit you because they see you fitting into their program at some level. Find out what that reason is. And keep on working on your game, like you're saying. Fall in love with that process. Keep working on the things that you want to be able to show and improve on. But also, it's weird because we're saying it's almost... We're saying that, hey, coaches want you to do a certain thing, but you got to be able to do everything. Yeah. And both are true. Yeah. It's not one or the other. It's not like we have somebody big, hey, when you go to college, all you're going to have to do is rim, run, and dunk. Yeah. Yes, but I also have to have footwork on the perimeter to be able to rip through 1 dribble, 2 dribble, and make a decision. Absolutely.
Yeah. Decision making. And, like, the thing about it is things change, too. A player gets hurt. Another player starts playing really good. Maybe your role diminishes a little bit.
Man, it's a lot.
Things happen, man. It's strange because maybe because I'm a hoop head, That's what it is. You hit it on the nail. Because I see it in the NBA. I went to an NBA game, and I just told my kids this. Like, I always text them stuff in the chat. Coaches, always send your players information on this, things that you see. I'm watching Klay Thompson. People are talking crazy about Klay Thompson.
They were.
Bro, this guy guards the whole game. And he's 6'8". People are confused. Like, I think when kids like that, oh, he sucks, or
because he's missing a few threes.
This guy is so elite defensively. The things he was doing, I teach active hands, like having your hands up, fingertips to the air. I mean, he's active. Like, he's bothering guys on passes. Like, it was amazing to see. I said,
and he keeps guys in front of him.
And he keeps guys in front of him. And I don't think kids are seeing, like,
yeah. No, they see him miss threes right now. But actually, the last 4 games, he's been
hotter. But what's keeping him on the? Do you think Steve Kerr is going to play him? Not play him because he's missing threes.
Right.
He's playing him for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, that's how more critical it gets. The higher, and that's another thing I tell my kids. The higher up you go, like when I started starting, and I was getting like big time minutes. Now they're looking like, Steve, you went 1 for 5 on 3. You're shooting this %. Like, the game gets harder. Now you have to perform. Now if you don't continue to perform, now you're back to where you're back to square one. Even when you get to the league, those guys are good. But now they're looking at their percentages. You shot 3. I remember I was watching the Clippers play somebody, and Coffee was shooting from the corner. And I was like, if he misses 1 more 3, they're done with him. He had missed like 3 in a row. And he had he had the nuts to shoot that other one, and he made it. And I was like, he's lucky he made that. Because that's how critical the NBA is. Like, you missed that, oh, we can't play him for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Or they tell you don't shoot anymore.
Right.
Or maybe the players stop shooting because they want to save their percentages. Mm-hmm. Like, the game gets
or you can start getting passed to because you're missing it. Something.
Whatever the deal is, but the journey is very long, and that's what it is. Have the ability to do everything. Yeah. Like, that's the whole point. Like, this, maximize your abilities and capabilities. Maximize them.
Dope. Yeah. Last piece we're going to touch on here. You started middle school AAU program.
Yeah.
Probably more coaching for you.
Yeah, more coaching.
What would encourage you to do that?
So when I went to the district, I started training at the district. I just started getting a lot of middle school kids, and I never had got that many middle school kids. So a lot of the parents were like, "Why don't you start a team?" And I'm like, "I want to start a team." Like, I was just kind of brushing it off. And one day I was like, "Dude, I have too many kids. Like, we got to do an 8th grade team." So as soon as I thought of the idea, I came up with the branding, and Build Your Way was always. I used to have Jones Way shorts. It always said Build Your Way on the shorts since like 2020. So I was like, just call it Build Your Way Elite.
Perfect.
And then I made an Instagram page, and we played all summer, and I literally fell in love with the program because the kids got so much better, and I was like, oh, it works.
Because you're showing them the development, you're training them, and
then coaching them.
You get to coach them in the game.
And that's the best part because it's middle school, so we can do this more. We can do anything. They can have the ability to do anything.
Yep.
And I remember for a whole month, I was like, these kids can't pass. So we did passing and training for like a month. Everything was driving, kick, passing. This all different types of passing. And I think we went to an AVAC tournament, and we played one of the made hoop teams. And I'm like, we're up by 10 points. We ended up losing, but we're up by 10 points at one point. And I was like, oh, it works. And we were playing the right way. And I'm not, I could talk, some of the coaching out there is just, it's
it's terrible.
Bad.
We talk about it all the time. Let's talk about it.
You're not telling guys to run to the 2 and the 3, and this is the 4. Like, they don't even know positions. They're just out there just doing anything.
Yeah. And they're getting their kid shots.
Yeah.
Whoever their son is or a nephew or.
It's so bad basketball that it actually helps guys like me, but then it hurts as well because a lot of those kids are older and they stack the teams. And I don't really care about that. I think I really have fell in love with finding young kids and just build them up and
that's it.
Build up their heart, their toughness, and find a real love for the game of basketball. And then the training will speak for itself.
There you go. Yeah.
Let that speak for itself. So
100%, and that's what core is about. Yeah. Like, that's literally why I do it. Is like, I don't care after 8th grade, you could continue to work with me.
Yeah.
we can figure it out.
Yeah.
But no, man, the foundation is there. You know how to train. You know what it's supposed to look like. You know the attitude you're supposed to have in there and the work ethic you're supposed to have.
Yeah.
And so, hey, at least the foundation is there. And so even if a parent walks in the gym, oh, that's a bad trainer. Yeah. That's not what Coach Todd did. Yeah. They know. They know. I had one of my high school kids actually hit me up like yesterday. Coach, we got to get in the gym. Yeah. And this morning we're working out and he's like, I'm like, dang, man, where's your touch at? Like he's shooting like darts at the board, at the rim. And I was like, he's like, Coach, that's why I'm back here. They ain't doing it for me. They ain't doing it. And it's like, cool, you understand what you need, and I'm glad that you at least know, like, even if I can't do it, you know that you have to go get this part of your game and work on it. So.
You got to.
No, that's dope, man. I hope to continue build your way, that continues to build, man. Don't be afraid to hop into the high school. If you want to, man. You got an 8th grade team. Hey, if it happens, it happens, right? Yeah. You said independent's a good way to go. So, hey, we're going to hop into our next segment, My Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. Okay.
So I got something for you since you're a Taft alum. Okay. Man. Top 4 Taft players in the last 25 years.
Top 4 Taft players. Whew. That's tough.
No specific order, just 4.
Just 4. The best player I ever seen play at Taft is Bryce Jones, R.I.P. Best player I ever seen. Could have been making millions in the NBA. Larry Drew, because he's a legend. Yeah, he's a legend. I can't say Jordan because I never saw Jordan Formar play, so I'm just gonna leave him out on the loop. But I'm gonna mention him.
You are.
I'll be asleep. I'll stay
Jordan,
asleep.
I apologize for Steve.
I'm not saying this because I train him, but people don't talk about like Mikey Williams had probably one of the best years ever at Taft. I don't know if you know Mikey Williams.
Oh,
Michael Williams had one of the best years ever at Taft.
Mike was gone.
And he went from freshman team, sophomore team, JV to varsity.
Wow.
Nobody knows that. So
you gotta give
credit. He plays in the Philippines. Gotta give credit to that. So him, and then from my roots, I'm gonna say Chris Yanku because we're the only 2 players that got 2 city championships with 2 different coaches, and I think he has when his senior year, he's like one of my best friends. He has the most points in Taft history. If you could look that up, he's got the most.
Google that.
Yeah, he has the most points ever in Taft history. I'm pretty sure nobody has more points because after we won city, this last year they just won city. I don't think there's no player that surpassed that. So, yeah. But shout out to a lot of other players. Definitely shout out to Spencer.
Okay.
Spencer is my Spencer is definitely.
I'm gonna say my legend. 4 would have to be Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan was go Google Jordan or YouTube Jordan at Taft. Like
ridiculous.
Just pulling up just different. Larry Drew, point guard, man. Like I just love the way he plays the game and seeing him develop. Kihei Clark.
Oh yeah, Kihei.
That's my sleeper, man. I tell people all the time, my favorite point guard. How I say this? Sky's a point guard, but he ain't a point guard.
I know.
He's kind of like everything to me. So Sky's my favorite high school player ever. His sophomore mixtape. Yeah. This is besides the point. Sorry. Yeah. So, but Kihei.
Yeah, Kihei. He's different.
Cold.
Yeah.
And then, is that 4?
That's 3.
Who'd I miss? Oh, Spencer. Spencer then with you. Yeah, man. And that's missing so many.
There's
so many.
Yeah.
Shout out to Derek Taylor.
DT got talent.
And even Jay Hart when he was there, and DT coming back, like it's talent, man.
Yeah, it was so much talent through there. I mean, you can name a whole list of guys.
Right.
Like
crazy.
It was elite. Super elite.
A lot of history in there. Dope. Yeah. All right, and so now this is where we flip the script. You become the interviewer. 2 questions for me.
2 questions for you.
Anything in the world.
What was your biggest challenge with starting prep middle school?
My biggest challenge starting prep middle school, man, that is a funny question. It's probably now.
Really?
Are you want to talk like when I first started? I guess there was no. It was a very natural transition. How you transition into training is how I transitioned into core.
Okay.
I didn't plan for it.
Yeah.
It just happened.
It just
Johnny
happened.
Juzane's dad.
Yeah.
It's like, I want him to train.
Yeah.
And I want him to do homeschool.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't do nothing during the day.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll watch him. And he's like, I'll tell other people. Have 15 people show up to a meeting. 8 people signed up.
Yeah.
It's like that. And I had 8 people.
Yeah.
I had the gym at 360.
Yeah.
Travis, that's when I met Travis. Yeah. Travis needed a job.
Yeah.
And boom, we just started the program. Yeah. Wow, and then the school, transitioning to on campus, how we do it, because we don't do the homeschool part anymore, where they have the traditional campus. It was smooth. I was already on campus as a coach, as an assistant.
Yeah.
And then boom. And so now the growth and the limitations that the school has on capacity is the issue.
Is the issue. Oh, yeah.
I literally have
no holdbacks.
I have, well, no. See, and that's the other thing. Yeah. We're going to post this, Karina. We do accept kids who reclassify.
Why are people telling me that?
This is the thing.
Yeah.
It's an administrative and a family decision.
Gotcha.
Todd doesn't make that decision.
Got you. Okay.
And then this is our rule, is that if they're in the school already, they cannot reclassify into the same grade if they already are students in the school, because of the social dynamic.
That makes sense.
It's weird.
Yeah.
We used to.
Yeah.
But no, you can upon entry into the school, we reclassify kids in this case by case situation.
Oh,
so let's make that very clear.
That's it. Well, there it is.
Yes, and I think people, I'm gonna say what it is. I think people said that to just discourage people from applying.
Gotcha.
And not trying to come to school. But
okay.
No, we do. Kids still get reclassified.
Yeah.
We don't do it as much as we used to do in the past.
Yeah.
It is definitely case by case, but we do allow kids to reclassify if it's the right situation for them and their family.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Makes sense.
So yeah, that's the tough part, is just scaling, right? It's always scaling, and with our business model is very unique. So.
Got you. Okay. I guess my next question is, I mean, I don't have a family, but how do you like manage basketball, and then how do you turn the switch off? Because this is a 24-hour job.
Having an understanding wife. My wife is amazing. She understands how I help people and what I do. And so we have an agreement on what time the phone goes off.
Yeah.
And there are certain people who can call me past that time that she knows. Yeah. And I make sure my end that there's balance. I don't do anything after 3 p.m. anymore. Yeah. I'm in the morning, early morning training. Like my first client's at 5:15 a.m. Yeah. I train in the morning till core starts at 8. Yeah. Core's over at 3. I'm at home with my kids.
That's good.
And then I go to games, go watch games, but I take my kids with me.
Yeah.
Or I have to go buy my wife some Cheesecake Factory. Yeah. Like, I'm buying your dinner tonight, just so hey, I want to go watch this game. Yeah. And so the balance comes from knowing first. I mean, I just know God's gonna provide. Yeah. I could be out here making probably $100,000 more if I work from 3 to 9. Yeah. Like what? Yeah. I could be making money, but it's more about being there for my kids. And so it's about the time management and trusting what you do.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it took a grind to get there. That wasn't always like that. Yeah. That just happened when I had kids. Yeah. Probably when my daughter was 2 and she's 4 and a half now. Yeah. And so my son is 2 and a half. And so, yeah, man, just understanding wife, understanding partner. That's where it starts though. Gotcha. Okay. Well, man, you got a 24-second clock. Yeah. That's your camera. Talk to the people. Let them know where they can find you on Instagram. Yeah. Or any message you have, whether it's about your business or a message in general for the people. Let them know.
Steve Jones. You can find me on Instagram, Stephen J, 3 N's, 2 J's. You guys can reach out to me for training the Jones way. And any middle school kids want to join Build Your Way Elite, you guys can contact me.
Dope, man. Appreciate you coming on the show, my brother.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
We'll check you guys out next time. Peace.